Hey, what's going on, Wealthy Legacy Journeyers? Welcome back to the Wealthy Legacy Journey. I am super excited to be hanging out with you guys here today. And the title of today's episode is Plant Seeds, Cultivate Trees, and Produce Fruit. And this is something that I like a little tagline that I close the episodes with all the time. And as I was reflecting on what I had gone through, what I had learned this week, what I had gathered from that, the experiences that I'd gone through, I was like, wow, this is a perfect week, I think, to take that tagline that's on almost every single episode and use it for our title. And so that's going to be the title of today's episode. I'm going to break down exactly what that means, though, a little bit later in the episode. But I want to start off by sharing a verse with you guys that my wife Libby shared with me this week, and I found it to be really encouraging and uplifting. And it's First Peter 5:10. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. Man, going through this season of change, difficulty, making cuts, making like a budget cuts and making lifestyle cuts and changing so much about our life in order to go after this goal has been really good. It's just been difficult and painful in some ways. It was interesting just the other day. Libby and I were on a walk and we were just kind of discussing some of the things about this season from this season. And, both of us have kind of been in that role of encourager at certain points, and while the other one's like in this role of just feeling kind of sad about the season. And it was interesting because, one of the encouragements has been, hey, we're cash flowing. We're doing better financially than 90% of Americans, according to any of the statistics that we've, read and been over. And so it's like, okay, from a financial outside looking in accountant perspective, if you're looking at our books, our life is better than most. But whenever we feel this huge change to our quality of lifestyle, and the things that we used to be able to do and stuff like that, it's really difficult. Whenever we look at before, we would take our kids out to do stuff quite often, going out to eat, going to get some ice cream, going to have fun, going to do like events. And a lot of that stuff has just been taken out of our lives to where even this last week, Libby and I were looking at, what do dates even look like right now? Like where it's hot outside, so we don't really want to go to the park. And most of your free activities are outside. And the weather isn't really good for that, but yet we're trying not to spend money. We're trying not to go out to eat. We're trying to, figure out what does this balance look like. And so we feel like we've been in this place of just struggle and difficulty, but reminding ourselves that it's not forever. And yes, there are good things that are happening to our finances and everything like that. But also, I think it's okay to recognize sometimes the difficulty that we're going through. And so, if you're in this same phase of the journey as me, with me, making those financial changes in order to make huge financial change for your future, and right now you're going through that portion of the process where it's a lot of just saying no to maybe some things that you used to not have to say no to, and you're going through that difficulty and that pain. I totally understand where you're at. But, to circle back to the title, Plant Seeds, Cultivate Trees, and Produce Fruit, you know, I always just remind people that, if you have to look at the action steps that you're taking right now and what kind of seeds are those action steps planting into your life, and are those seeds going to cultivate the trees or the plants that are going to produce the kind of fruit that you're looking for over the next couple months, over the next couple years, right? And so, my question to you would be, are you doing something in your life right now that's going to get you to where you want to go? So for us, we just have to continue to remind ourselves that we are taking all of our extra cash flow and we are learning how to make it work for us, because in the next couple years we want to be financially free to the point where we don't have to say no to all the things that we're saying no to right now. And in fact, we can actually grow well beyond where we ever could if we were just an employee. We want to build a business and a brand We want to eventually we have some really big, long-term missions, global missions goals. We have some really big, desires as far as what we can grow with our investing and how we can help people. And so we've got some really, really big goals, but realizing that in order to produce a type of fruit that 99% of people do not have in their life, maybe like 90%, I'm not really exactly sure what the exact figure would be, but a huge majority of the people do not have in their lives. We're going to have to plant some seeds that a huge majority of people aren't willing to plant. And some of those might be difficult and tumultuous and painful seeds to plant. But if we plant those seeds, we can eventually cultivate trees that are going to produce some amazing fruits. And we're going to be able to really enjoy reaping the harvest on those. So, going to some of the things that happened this week, one of the exciting things is I made $1,000 this week on paper, doing some paper trading, and it was really cool. Though the exciting part about that specific $1,000 is that's $1,000 that I made on my own, my own picks, my own trades that I made, and made $1,000. It was really exciting. It was exciting to learn the value of base hits. It was exciting to learn the value of taking profits whenever profits become available to you. It was really exciting, just to have the opportunity to, see the stock. Some of the things that I've been learning a lot recently is moving averages and volume profiles. And so seeing, the price of a healthy stock inside of a healthy sector come into a strong volume profile and moving average area where there's going to be a lot of support. It's going to be difficult for the price to break down through. How can I buy in that zone, let it take off from that zone, and be able to then sell it? We're still selling in a place, where there's a lot of demand for it, and there's some, there's supply there as well. It's just getting squeezed up, and we're just selling on the way up, not trying to get greedy and make all the money in the world. But hey, we bought this good setup, and then we're just going to go ahead and sell early before this momentum fizzles out. And so it's been really cool just to take all the things that I've been learning and be able to apply them to make $1,000. And if anybody's wondering, I was risking $1,000, or I had $1,000 per trade, risking a 25% stop loss, so $250 max loss, unless it, obviously gapped, but basically $250 max loss. And then I had a 30% take profit, which would be about a $300 take profit. Now, it doesn't always, equate out to exactly 1,000 because the cost of the option might be $2.20, which actually cost me $220. So I might just do 4 of those, which would be like $880, not quite $1,000. Or if I did 5 of them, it would be a little bit over. It'd be like maybe 1,100. So it was like somewhere within that range of 1,000. It might not be exactly $1,000. And out of all the trades that I made, I had a 5 out of 6 win rate, which was very exciting. And so I'd set the trade. I just went ahead and set the stop loss, set the take profit, and let the trade do what the trade was going to do. Now, one of the trades I did take early because it was like 10 minutes before the close on Friday. It was up like 15%. And to be honest with you, I just wanted to take the profit so I could have $1,000 realized gain, number one. And number two, we were going into a long Labor Day weekend, and I was pretty sure the market was going to open up on Monday because going into the first of the month, being a lot of buying pressure and a lot of buying power. From the big dogs trying to enter into positions again because I just closed a lot out for the end of August. But I wasn't 100% sure, and I just wanted to be able to take my $1,000 and walk away with an exciting day. Now, we are going to be resetting our paper account to get a clear view for how we are doing on trades going forward. We're going to be doing some of our own trading, and then one of our mentors that's a part of the Monument Traders Alliance, Brian Bottarelli, we're going to be following his trades closer than any of the rest of the coaches there. Just looks like his trading style and his trading strategy might align with what we're able to do within our the size of our account and our desired time to be able to give to the trades and all these different things. I think he's going to be our best bet. And then, like I said, doing some of our own trades as well. So it's going to be an interesting month in September as we kind of take this month to paper trade, Brian's trades, and just see, hey, can we make consistent cash flow off of taking, Brian's trades and doing some of these other, they call them dark ticker, but doing some dark ticker trades. And then we might be taking the occasional trade setup that we find as well. And so between these different avenues that we are looking at, can we make consistent profit? Because my goal would be when I originally started working for the ambition group, the goal was, hey, can I stay in this for 2 years? And so the 2 year mark would actually be the summer of 2025, which gives me about 9-ish months left before we hit the 2 year mark. And so my question was, can I, in the next 9 months, make these stocks be something that are producing cash consistently, producing cash profitably? Can they produce the cash flow that I need to replace my income? And so we're working like crazy. It's been super busy. I think it's going to probably continue to be super busy in order. Give me 1 second. So, the idea being, can I make my income needs off of trading stocks? And so I'm giving myself a really long runway in order to be able to do that of, 9 months. And hopefully in the next 9 months, we can produce, the great thing about our lifestyle being shrunk is that my income needs are actually very low. I want to be able to make more than my income needs. But we've got a couple things going for us. We've got we have quite a bit of capital tied up in a JV deal and equity in that deal. We've got some other equity tied up in some other deals. And so over the next 9 months, as those continue to pay out, we will have more capital to be able to invest, along with the capital that we already have now. Plus, we're cash flowing. So we are going to be continuing to build up that capital over the next 9 months. And so, hopefully by the time we get to next summer, we've got a very good nest egg. I'd love to have like a 1 year emergency fund set aside. And then on top of that, have plenty of capital to be able to invest with in order to be able to see a gain on. Switching from stocks to more personal stuff, Libby has actually some of the things that got done this week that were exciting or just like noteworthy. Libby got our room organized in the trailer a little bit closer to what our envision setup was originally. And so you can see I'm actually recording from a new place if you're watching on YouTube. I tried to make sure that I angled the camera well enough so you couldn't see most of the mess inside of here. But this was when we first started out, going from a 1,600 square foot house to a 400 square foot trailer. Our little 100 square foot, bedroom here became what was left of storage space. You might be surprised, but in a 400 square foot house, there's not as much storage space as there would be in a 1,600 square foot living space. And so our room became the storage room and it was packed. And so we've, kind of made that really hard decision. Like if you've ever had to, at first we were getting rid of, if you ever decluttered, like we went through this phase of like, at first we got rid of a bunch of stuff that we didn't use, we didn't really care about anymore. That was easy to let go of. And the second phase was like stuff that we kind of enjoyed. We didn't really use it that often. We didn't really need it. And so it was like, oh, that kind of hurts to get rid of, but it's okay. The stuff that was left in here was stuff that it's like, man, we really like this stuff. We just don't really see where it's going to be able to fit in the trailer. And we finally made some of the final decisions and some of the things that we had to go, there just isn't a place for this in this season, even though we really like it. And it's not something that we necessarily wanted to get rid of. And so that was, it was hard to let go of some of that stuff, but I think it was a good just separation and going, hey, like we've kind of crossed this bridge and now we've gotten rid of some of this stuff and now we can move forward kind of with just a fresh outlook on things, and having this space reorganized and opened up a little bit has just been nice. So, I would just encourage you, if you're in this part of your journey as well, whatever this part of your journey looks like as you're decluttering your life and, removing expenses, you know, don't be afraid to get rid of some of the anchors in your life that you need to. We cut a lot. We cut the farm, we cut our house, moved into this trailer. We've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been really hard. Just like I said at the very beginning of the episode, it has been very difficult, but we're looking to that end goal. And so my hope is that this series for, my kiddos or anybody else that is watching this can see this progression over time of like, okay, Kendall and his family went through a really difficult thing, but they ended up building something really amazing. And I hope that these videos give you some encouragement and hope that while it is so hard and difficult what you're going through right now, it will be worth it on the other side. I finally had some time over. This is Labor Day weekend, so a little bit longer weekend to build our kitchen table. We've been living here for I think almost 2 months now. Haven't had a kitchen table, and so to be able to have a kitchen table to eat as a family around again will be so good. Our specific trailer just didn't come with one, so I had to design one to fit in one of the spaces, and it had to be small and compact because everything inside of a trailer is small and compact. Another fun thing that happened this week is we had a little bit of a rainstorm and we discovered we have a little leak in our RV roof. It's a small leak. Probably got scratched by some trees on the way pulling it in. Um, Whenever we first got it here, I had done a visual inspection, and saw some things, but I'm kind of new to the RV roofs. I didn't really know like what had to be addressed right away and stuff like that. And so we kind of had a surprise rainstorm, and the surprise rainstorm let us know that there are some things up there that have to be addressed. So I ordered this stuff, and I'll be working on that. Which is just another fun thing, on top of doing some real estate, doing some stocks. Libby's going to another fun thing, we're doing is Libby's going to her fair this next weekend, and I get to work on the roof. So as you can see, we are stretched thin. Plus, we got our three kids, kiddos. They're 1.5. No, yeah, 1.5, 3.5, and almost 5. And so we've got all that going for us, which creates a little bit of busyness as well on top of everything else. It's a lot. But we're just pushing towards, like I said, that end goal. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't have any major updates on Palestine or Hudson, and so just waiting on somebody to, go out there and just be like, "Hey, I'm interested in that property." I'm not gonna lie, it's taken Palestine a lot longer to sell than I would have originally expected. And Hudson, we were in a great roll there. We sold 4 lots in a row. We basically had the loan paid off, and we're in the green on that property. And that was a really exciting moment. And we got there pretty darn quickly. And so I thought, oh man, we're going to make money on these last two. And I reached out to the listing agent this last week on those. I was like, hey, do you have any update by any chance? And they said no, that like literally nothing. And they're thinking about like mixing up their listing strategy and doing some different things. But I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. Like, 4 of them sold, 4 of the 6 sold. And now we have these like other 2 lots, and they're just like not doing anything. Yeah, and another thing is Libby and I were struggling with this tight budget. It's been about 6 months since we've had fund money come through. So we had that one deal. I think it was like in March-ish, if I remember correctly. We got $1,000 of fund money, and it felt so amazing. And now we're down to about $200 left of that fund money as we've very slowly spent it over time. And now we're kind of just like holding on to it and going, what do we do for, like I said, what do we do for dates? What do we do for like taking our kids out? And it's difficult because we were having a conversation about this yesterday, and I told her, I was like, I don't really love what I do for my job. Where I'm really trying to build a skill set so I can be working on my own again. I love being a solopreneur and an entrepreneur and doing stuff, on my own for myself, building my own thing. I find it to be very rewarding and exciting. And so I'm earning this money. It's hard-earned money, and I just don't want to let it go frivolously. And I hate to go out and, see $50 disappear like that in, 30 minutes, and my kids not even eat all their food. And it's like, wow, like that we worked really hard for that money, worked really hard for that cash flow. And if you think about it, let's just say on average, we're cash flowing, I don't know, $1,500 a month, which is pretty good for most. In that case, you're talking, 4%, 5% of our cash flow gone in 30 minutes. It's just not something that, you can't do that many times before all of a sudden you're making a big hit. Like if you do that once a week over the month, well, now 20% of your cash flow is gone in maybe 2 hours of eating. And, it's just like, and then if you want to go do anything else on top of that, like you just start going through that cash really quickly. And so we've really, really tried to be aware of our cash and our cash flow, where our cash is at, where our cash is going. But that discipline has been difficult. It's had its hard moments. Another thing for this upcoming week is Libby's first fair, like I mentioned, of selling art is this next weekend. And I just, we've been talking and I've been thinking, and I just really hope that we're not pushing things too hard. But at the same time, I hope that we're pushing things hard enough to see the growth that we need. And, I think about this, Libby. I kind of had this analogy. I can't remember who, kind of mentioned it first, but, when planted, how hard does a seed have to push in order to break through the soil to sprout? We feel like we're pushing really, really hard in life right now, but when a seed is planted and it has to push up through that dirt in order to sprout at the surface, how hard does that thing have to push? And I also mentioned her, I said, that seed is traveling through the dark, through the unknown. And it was interesting because in that same conversation, we had a big conversation in and around worry about all the things that could happen, versus staying focused and planted in today. And, I just said in that, I was like, that seed could worry about, what if I'm going down instead of going up? What if instead of going to meet the sunshine and fresh air, I'm actually going deeper and deeper and deeper into the ground, and I'm never going to see the sunlight? Or what if I plant, or what if I sprout over the sunlight and that sun burns me and nobody gives me any water and I, as the plant, die? Or what if I sprout and a squirrel eats me? Or what if a cow eats me, or a deer eats me, or a rabbit eats me, right? Or what if before I'm even able to sprout, a squirrel comes and digs me up out of the ground and eats me as a seed, right? Or what if I end up growing up to be this plant and some of the bugs start to come and eat me, and they start eating my leaves, and I'm no longer able to do the process of photosynthesis in order to be able to grow? Or what if I grow to be this big plant and I have big water needs and I've been watered up to this whole point, and then we go through a hot spell and somebody forgets to water me for a long period of time, and I can no longer sustain my size because of the amount of water I need to consume, and that kills me? And, I was just talking about, like, the plant could sit here and worry and be scared and fretful for all of these different things that could happen. Or the plant could just focus on the growth step that it needs to take today. Today, I need to pop out of my seed. Or maybe today, I need to reach the surface. Or today, I need to grow another leaf. Or today, I need to send my roots deeper in order to find more water. Or today, I need to grow more branches and more leaves at the same time in order to be able to continue growing exponentially. Or maybe today is the day to bear some fruit to enjoy. So, in your life, wherever you're at, you could be worried and scared and unsure about all the unknown factors that could happen. Or you could focus on the growth step that you need to take today in order to get you where you need to go. I'm going to close with this verse again for us. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter 5:10. God doesn't push us through hard forever. There is hope. With all that said, guys, let's do our identity mantra before we close out today's episode. I'm going to say it first. You guys say it after me. I explore the unknown. I conquer new frontiers. My journey is powerful, and my wake is a wealthy legacy. That's awesome, guys. You are wealthy legacy journeyers. I am a wealthy legacy journeyer. I explore the unknown. I conquer new frontiers. My journey is powerful, and my wake is a wealthy legacy. That's what it means to be a wealthy legacy journeyer. But just as a reminder, guys, the way we define wealth here at the Wealthy Legacy Journey is simply the ability to cover your monthly expenses without having to lift a finger. I'm talking about passive investment income. I'm not talking about being a gazillionaire. Just simply, can you meet all your financial needs with passive investment income? So that way your active income and your active investment income are just over and above. That is how you build true generational wealth. And as a reminder, guys, also legacy is leaving a long lasting impact on others who come after you as they receive the fruit of your labor. All of us will leave fruit and all of us will leave a legacy, but we get to choose what kind of fruit and legacy we leave behind. Could be good fruit, could be bad fruit. As a reminder, going all the way back to the title of today's episode, is in order to produce good fruit, we need to cultivate good trees. In order to cultivate good trees, we need to plant good seeds. We have to make sure that the seeds that we're planting today are going to produce the trees, which will produce the fruit that we're looking to harvest in the coming months, in the coming years. With all that said, guys, appreciate y'all stopping by. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure that you like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm and it helps us to grow. Don't forget to check in the description of the video or the podcast episode. There is going to be a link to a resource page that has a bunch of books and a bunch of other really cool tools and resources that have helped me in my wealthy legacy journey that can help you guys as well. And there's also going to be a link to our wealth health checkup that can help you figure out where you're at and get you pointed in the right direction for where to go in your own personal wealthy legacy journey if you're just not quite 100% sure about what your next step should be. With all that said, guys, this has been another episode dedicated to you and your own personal wealthy legacy journey. Go out there and simply take the right next step today. And I am so excited to hear all of your personal success stories. Awesome hanging out with you guys, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.